In this video, I get interviewed, so keep watching. Hi, it's Turan here from Feel Good Hypnosis, and this video is about me being interviewed by the wonderful Bernie Allen. Bernie is a business coach and a success coach, and Bernie contacted me asking me would I like to do some hypnotherapy live during her half-hour Tuesday evening show on Facebook. Now, I explained to Bernie, as much as I'm good, it may take over half an hour, and if she's only got a half-hour slot, we might not be able to fit a hypnotherapy session in. So what I agreed was it would be blind in terms of I wouldn't know who I'd be working with, have any previous contact with them before, but she would select them. I would meet up with them and do a Zoom hypnotherapy session with them, and I would record that and compress it down into, say, 5 minutes of key highlights to show during the show. So we agreed with that there, and well, the rest is history. You can see the interview coming up now with Bernie, and then during that slot, about 18 minutes into the show, we switch out to the therapy session I had with Laura, who's was selected by Bernie and presented to me without any prior knowledge of what we were going to work with. Now, it turns out that Laura had a fear of spiders, and we worked over a 40-minute session with her. I managed to get it sorted out in just one session, but we compressed it down to 5 minutes during the interview show. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to release that 40-minute full session in another video, in a separate video after this one, so keep watching. Make sure you click the red subscribe button and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click the grey notification bell button so you get notified when a new video comes out from Feel Good Hypnosis and myself. If you have any comments about this interview, about the short clip of the therapy session you see, please do leave it in the comment section below. I always like reading your comments and giving feedback on your comments, and it may lead to a video all by itself if the comment is interesting or a different question. And make sure you give it a thumbs up, make sure you give it a like, because that helps the YouTube channel grow when it gets lots of likes and people, get more engaged with these videos. So I won't speak any more because it's a good half-hour show. Please do enjoy Bernie. I'll put in the description section below a link to Bernie's Facebook page so you can check Bernie out and follow her and get some great tips and advice and see other interviews by the lovely Bernie Allen. In the meantime, here's the video.
Good evening and welcome to another Tuesdays with Bernie. I'm absolutely delighted to be sharing another Tuesday with you. I'm looking out my window and the sun is beautiful, and I hope it's beautiful where you are. And as always, let me start off by saying a thank you to everybody that is out there looking after us on the front line. I've said it many a time, I do not know whether I would be brave enough to be able to do what you're doing. So thank you very much, and please stay safe for us all, because you're very brave in what you're doing. For everybody that's sitting at home and this stretch is getting long for you, keep yourselves busy, keep yourself occupied, turn off the idiot box and get up and do something, because it's a long stretch being at home. And it's one of the reasons why I put on Tuesdays with Bernie. Just to give you a little 30 minutes of entertainment. You can either laugh at me, I don't care, or you can enjoy my guests. And I've got loads of guests coming on for you. That's going to be exciting. And the guest I have on this evening, honestly, you are going to be blown away by him, because everybody loves a hypnotist. And I'm a wee bit sort of like thinking to myself, oh my goodness, I hope he doesn't do anything on me. But we will see. You would all enjoy that. I know that. So what we're going to do this evening is we're going to talk to the lovely Turan, who is a hypnotist, and I'm here as always to ask the questions that you would love to ask. Just before I bring Turan on camera, there is a massive treat for you this evening, because I asked Turan would he actually help somebody that could do with his services, and this young lady has actually got a fear of spiders. And Turan has been working with young Laura, and tonight we're actually going to show you what he did and the results, and I'm not going to tell you any more. So let me see, just stay tuned and you'll be able to see it all. So let me see, is Turan in the waiting room?
Good evening. Good evening. Hi, Bernie.
Hello, Turan. Thank you so much for taking your busy time and coming on Tuesday with Bernie. What I love, Turan, is just looking at you. You actually look like a business card.
Oh.
Call these numbers. I love it. Absolutely love it. Very, very welcome. And as I said, everybody loves a hypnotist, but everybody is always a bit wary of a hypnotist as well.
That's more the truth. People sort of run away sometimes when they realize I'm a hypnotist.
I would say that, you know. So what I've got loads of questions here that I want to ask you, and I know we've only got a short window of time. So what I would like to kickstart our questions off with is, how did you find out that you could do this?
Now, I love that question because so many people ask that question. How did you find out you could actually do this stuff? The bottom line is, this is a learned skill. Anybody can learn to do this. So it's not something you have to be born with. It's not something like you have to be the seventh son of a seventh son to be able to hypnotize. Anybody can do it. And dare I say it, we all do it all the time. We all give suggestions and hypnotize people one way or the other. For instance, if you think of a little 7-year-old kid in school, and he knows he hasn't done well in maybe his music exam, and the teacher's walking up to him, that child's going to be focused all his attention on, is he going to hit me? Is he going to shout at me? You know, what's the mark going to be? And the teacher just slaps down the paper and goes, F, you're never going to be good at music. Now, when somebody does that there, that child is in the focused state of attention. That suggestion is going to go right in. That teacher might as well be a hypnotist. Does that make sense?
Wow. Wow.
So we all do it. If we get someone's attention and they're really focused on us, and we give a suggestion at the right moment, at the right time. So really the skill of being a hypnotist is just knowing the right moment, the right time, the right way to craft those suggestions.
So when people say that, you know, people has been influenced from childhood with things, so that's right then.
That's it. That's it. So many things that I work with people for, anxieties, panic attacks, etc. They all come right back down to, you know, early things in childhood or early teens, because that's when we're most influenced and that's when we most learn about things.
Wow. The other question I want to ask you is, you know, does it work on everyone?
Again, you're setting the questions up beautifully here. That's another question that is always asked of me. You know, does it work on everybody, and will it work on me? And the thing is, if you want it to work, like I say, we were all influenced all the time. We're influenced by TV and adverts and all the rest of it. You know, we're sitting watching the TV program, and then the adverts come on. You say, "Oh, if I fancy a cup of Tetley's or something," you know, just coincidentally after the adverts been on. So we're influenced all the time. But if you come to me and you're saying, I think I'm going to, you know, float, levitate off the ground, and I don't want to float and levitate off the ground, then that thought, that worry will stop you from being hypnotized. But if you come to me and you say, "Oh, I'm tired of this issue. I want to get rid of it. I want to be gone of it," you know, then hypnosis will work. Hypnosis is a natural phenomenon at the end of the day. Everyone goes into hypnosis, believe it or not, 8 or 9 times. So by this time on a Tuesday night, people have gone into hypnosis, you know, maybe 6 or 7 times. And they'll recognize that from the point of view, if you've ever been maybe sitting at your desk and somebody comes to you and taps you on the shoulder and you go, "What?" And they go, "I called your name 3 times, you know, where were you? Were you on another planet?" That's because you tranced out naturally. Or maybe you drive home.
Is that the same as you're driving in the car and you say, "How did I get here? I can't remember the journey."
That's it. Whether it's going to the shops or coming home from the shops, and you close the car door and you go, did I get into the car? The last thing I remember is stepping into the car in Tesco's. So, you know, that's because you've tranced out. You're so focused on thinking of something else that what's happening in the moment doesn't matter. Now, it doesn't mean you're out of control. It doesn't mean you weren't in control of that car. If a child had stepped off, and you would have seen that. And again, you might have had that experience as well. You're driving along, you go, geez, where'd that come from? You're all, you know, part of your brain was watching that child and saying, it doesn't matter, it's a safe situation. Oh, he's stepping off, and all of a sudden you go, oh, what was that?
That would happen to me. And if I'm in the more, you know, I am aware, but I think, how did I get from there to there? So does that mean whenever hypnotists say you are always in control at any time at all, you're always in control? Is that what that means?
Indeed. Again, I mean, I've got about 430 videos up on YouTube. A lot of it's entertainment stuff. So I start out in life just doing entertainment stuff. And you look at there and you say, well, you know, they're forgetting their name, they're forgetting the number 7, they can't think they have 11 fingers on them. You know, they're surely, he's controlling them. But it's a very subtle difference. Is I have asked them, would you like to experience something? And they've said yes. If that had said no, I wouldn't have been able to hypnotize them. You know, they've given me the permission to hypnotize them. And that's 100% different than me taking control of them and making them do something against their will. Does that make sense? There's a fine line there, but it's a very important line. So they're in control. And if I was to say, now, again, there's fine lines everywhere. If I had said to hypnotize someone in the middle of the street, and said, take off all your clothes. If they didn't want to do that, they would pop out of it. Now, I don't make those suggestions, not because, you know, I can control them and make them take off their clothes, but because I might have stopped someone who's a lovely naturalist, goes down to the beach and loves to express themselves. You understand? So it's not that I can make someone take off their clothes against their will, but if they were a free type and wanted to do that and enjoyed doing that there, then I could have an embarrassing situation in my hand. But the key thing is, you know, I can't make someone do something against their control. And when you think of the more serious therapeutic side, when I work with people, say for stop smoking, you know, if somebody comes to me, especially with stop smoking, if somebody comes to me with the panic attacks, I don't usually say, do you want to hold on to those panic attacks? But if somebody comes to me and says, I want to stop smoking, I say, well, do you really want to stop smoking? And every so often somebody will go, you know, not really. The wife wants me to stop.
I was one of those people before I stopped. Yeah.
That's it. They'll say the wife wants me to stop, or the husband wants me to stop. But you know what? I actually enjoy them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to be one of those evangelists that say, oh, you must stop and cancel this, that, and the other. You know, it's not the best thing to do. But if they don't want to stop, even hypnosis will not get them to stop. So you've got to want it.
So you said about the evangelists, and it put a thought into my head. Some people think that this is against religion. This is against, oh, you can't go. Like, you know, do you ever get that?
Yes. Yes. Oh, again, especially in Northern Ireland. I mean, I've hypnotized people on the Las Vegas Strip. I've hypnotized people in England and Scotland and Wales. Especially in Northern Ireland, they go, ooh, you know, that's, you know, against my religion, you know. And again, that comes back to the control issue, because they think I am taking control of you. And again, as I stressed there, whether it's for stopping smoking or whether it's for making somebody forget their name, you know, they'll look at that and they'll say, oh, you know, yes, this is the devil at work, because they're making him say his name. Who would ever want to stop that?
That's what I mean, because people think that. That's what I mean.
You know, which is, you know, I mean, I'm not going to change their mind. So again, just like this smoker that doesn't want to stop, I'm not going to go, oh, you should, you know, I'm not going to badger them into it. Their partner, right, is probably already doing that. And that's the reason that came to me.
Okay. So I have loads of questions for you.
Yeah.
So will it last? Do you know if you hypnotize somebody about like off smoking or off drinking or weight loss or something like that, does it last, or is it just when they're with you?
No, number one, yeah, again, people ask that all the time. Number one, does it last? And number two, you know, oh, well, I need to top up every year for the rest of my life. You know, say it's a fear of heights or a fear of spiders. And the bottom line is, once I've talked to that unconscious part of you and got that unconscious part of you to connect with your conscious wants, then that's it for life. Now, it might take a couple of sessions to do that. But once that connection and that change of, the mind has happened, that's it for life. Now, in the context of, say, pick a spiders, for instance, and I overcome your fear of spiders, and then you get a holiday, you win a holiday or whatever. It's a bad time in lockdown to be talking about that there, but you go off to the Brazilian jungle and you've got your machete and you're going through the jungle and you see this tarantula. I'm not going to say the old fear will come back, but a new fear, because the fear you have when you're here would be against domestic spiders, and you will lose that. But it's not an irrational fear to fear a tarantula, because tarantulas can't kill you. They're poisonous and all the rest of it. So you will still have that rational fear.
Yeah.
If we stand on the top of the Empire State Building without a harness, I think we'll all be afraid. That's not a fear of heights. A fear of heights is when you're standing on the ground looking at a tall building and you're shaking. Or again, I've worked with people for like the fear of flying, and just seeing an airplane on the television will make them leave the room. They're not in an airplane, they're not sitting in an airplane shaped seat, but they'll have that fear so bad.
A friend of mine is like that, and I know that. So it does last. And the other one that people often ask is, do you get stuck in hypnosis?
Again, I've almost answered that in terms of the fact that hypnosis is a natural process that we drift in and out of 6 or 7 times a day. So, at your age of 30, Bernie, in the last 30 years, you haven't you haven't been stuck in hypnosis. We can't be stuck in hypnosis, to the point that, I work over Zoom these days, obviously, during the lockdown period. But whether we're working over Zoom or was face to face with you, if I was to have a heart attack, within 2 or 3 minutes, your brain would just go, well, he's a bit quiet. And you would just pop out of it naturally. Just like you would pop out of it when somebody taps you on the shoulder. You go, what? Oh, I was miles away. You weren't miles away, you were inside at an unconscious level.
So that's safety for people. And if somebody wants to maybe stop something or stop doing something, whatever, how many sessions do people need in hypnosis to help them? Is it 1? Is it 100? Is it 20? How many would they need?
Again, lovely question, because hypnosis is like a hammer. A hammer doesn't build a house. It takes a good craftsman to use the hammer in the right way to build a house. Hypnosis is what I use as a tool to get you to connect your conscious wants with your unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind has made a decision. I'm a smoker. I'm going to be a smoker for life. But you've got to the point now where it's costing too much, or the health risk, you're waking up with a weed or whatever, and consciously you're saying, I want to stop. But that unconscious part of you just keeps on going, saying, but you're a smoker. So in hypnosis, it's about lifting that barrier and getting the conscious mind to talk to the unconscious mind and make a change in the way they think. So you fix yourself. I hate that word FIX, fix, because it's not even the right thing to say, but to get people to relate, it's about you fixing yourself, not me fixing you. So for that reason, I don't know how long it's going to get you to get the message across. Many people get sorted in one session. Some people take 3 or 4 sessions. I always advise when clients contact me, I say, look, budget and plan for 3 or 4 sessions. But I'll be doing my best to give you my expertise to get you sorted in the first session. If it doesn't work, it's not a case of poor workmanship on my part. It's just a case of
yes,
we need to work a bit longer to get that right.
That gently leads us into what you did with Laura. Okay, and as I said at the beginning, then we're going to show that this evening. So what I asked you to do was, because Laura has a fear of spiders, and whenever we said, well, let's do it live, because everybody would like to see it live. Can you explain to our viewers the reason why we didn't do it live?
Okay. Yes, you approached me and you says, let's do a live session, live on air. And as I explained there, I don't know how long it's going to take. Number one, I don't know how long it's going to take. It might be one session, it might be 10 minutes. I've worked with someone for fear of flying and it took only 20 minutes. Generally, I allow an hour and 15, an hour and a half work with people. And sometimes it would be faster, sometimes it would be slower, sometimes it could take 2 hours for the session. So for that reason, I didn't want to do it live because if it rolls on, if we go down a wee bit of an alley and have to come back to somewhere else, that would just throw off the whole timing of the session. So I proposed, let's video it offline and do the work. And more importantly, let's not just see what happens 2 seconds after she comes out of the focused hypnotic state. Let's leave it a couple of weeks and see where we're at.
And that's exactly what you did.
That's
so for the viewers, let's roll the tape and let them watch what actually happened.
Background to this: we haven't met before,
Yeah.
and the only conversation we've had is to set a date.
Yeah.
Okay. And I just want to make sure the important thing is that you want to change. You've got something about your life, a thought, a feeling that you're not happy with, and you want to change it. Would that be correct?
Yeah.
And what is that thought or feeling?
I'm afraid of spiders, and I know that it's completely daft, but I am.
Perfect. Number one, you've said all the right things in that short sentence. Everybody says to me, I know it's silly, but. And the reason you say but is because consciously, they're domestic. Consciously, even the big ones aren't like the big tarantulas that you would see in Brazil or whatever.
Yeah.
So in this context, here, it's safe, but you still have those feelings.
I just get like shivers, and oh God, like.
And where do those shivers start?
Oh, it's nearly like here, down.
That's it. And it's here and it goes down. And where does it travel to? Right in your neck there now? What colour is that feeling? First thought comes to mind.
My first thought, hang on, I have to do it again.
That's it. You see that spider. It's late at night. There you go.
Oh, like black.
Black. Okay. Pull that black feeling out. Stretch it right out so it's outside of your body. You're holding it. There you go. Okay.
Right.
Slam it back in. Slam it back in. Let it wash all the way through you. All the way down. Right down from the head, right down to the tips of your toes. Let it bounce around. And feel the difference as that moves in a new direction, in a new way. And as it moves in a new direction, in a new way, and it has a new feeling, feel the difference it makes now. When you think about opening that door and seeing that spider. What's that like now?
I don't really feel anything yet. I don't feel any movement.
Breath in. Maybe think of another time. And breathe out. And on the third deep breath in, just allow your eyes to close down now. There you go. I want you to relax. Only when you know that they are so relaxed that they will not open, only then I want you to go ahead and test those eyelids and find they're beautifully relaxed and locked and stuck down. And you might want to move your eyebrows just to show me that you're testing. There you go. You can stop testing now. Feeling deeper relaxed now.
99.
Just letting that feeling of relaxation totally soak through your mind now, just as much as your body is relaxed right now. All gone now. Just nod your head when they're all gone. That's right. And now that your unconscious is present with us, to connect in a clearer way, in a more connected way with your conscious thoughts, conscious wants. I want your unconscious to go down to that deeper inner place of change, that place where real change happens inside you now. So now that we're in that place of change, I'm going to ask your unconscious mind just to imagine now, just imagine inside your mind that you're in a wonderful, beautiful cinema with nobody else in that cinema but yourself.
and you have the choice of which chair you can sit in. So I just want you to. And once all that's integrated in, just allow that fully to integrate inside your mind. Just float out of that movie screen back into Laura and Emily is sitting in the chair. Done. There you go. And what's that feel like now?
Nice and peaceful.
It is peaceful, isn't it? So this is the test. This is the time. What I want you to do now is really just imagine going into the garage, getting something right at the back, and tell me how you feel now.
Well, I don't think anything yet, but I have to go into the garage to check.
Okay. So, I mean, I said to Bernie, we'll work together. We'll do this little bit of hypnosis, and we can leave it a week. It's been about 2 weeks since we worked together, and I'm just keen to know how things have been.
Well, funny, I think it was the day after, or 2 days after the last I was speaking to you, I was out cleaning the child's playhouse.
Yeah.
And I reached over a counter and I looked down and there was this big spider here. And I went, oh, there's a spider. And I leaned back and I went on, and it was only about 10 minutes later that I realized, here, I never jumped. I acknowledged that it was there, but I didn't jump.
Yeah.
Like, so that was the main one, but like there's been a few instances in between where it's the same thing. It's kind of just like there one is, but I don't.
Perfect. I mean, basically that's what I said. It's not that you'll go over, run up and hug a spider now.
And I'm sure if you put one on me, I will squeal. But I was saying that to my mom yesterday, and she said like she's not afraid of them, but if you put one on her, she'd probably squeal too.
Wow, Taran, that is absolutely amazing. And you know what came across my head when I was watching the reaction of your face? How were you feeling at that moment?
Well, that's it.
Laura was explaining, just about to explain to you, because you didn't know what she was going to say.
No, again, we controlled that very tightly, that there was no communications outside of the video. So apart from, here's the date, here's the time, are you happy, are you free to meet up? That's the only conversation we had. So what you see there is the first time I find out whether the hypnosis worked. And like I say, it's not because any lack of skill on my part, it's because, I don't know what's going on inside her mind, and it's really her mind that's doing the real power work. And sometimes it might need, like I say, a second session, a third session, but this time, like I say, the full session was 40 minutes. So we've compressed it there just to show you a few highlights, and then a few minutes of the follow-up. And really, that's the proof of the pudding. You can see me just really listening and say, well, where you at? How did it go? So I was delighted with that news.
Delighted, because I do know Laura, and I know that it affects her life so much.
It did.
It did. In fact, you're right. Thank you so much for that, Taran. Now, the funny side that you said earlier on, you do the funny side of it, and you do when you're doing your shows. And I've actually been in the hall in some of your exhibitions and whatever, and I'm looking, going, oh my goodness, seriously, like, is these people seriously? And you've only met them for seconds, on their minds and whatever, like. So I've down here, like, can you make me cluck like a chicken or something, like that, or what do you think?
Again, it goes back to that control thing. If you're up for it and you want to do that, then they can give that suggestion, to give you that freedom to be able to do it. If you want to cluck like a chicken but you're a bit nervous about doing it, I can give you that ability to do that. But if you don't want to do it, and there's many times, like I say, there's some nice videos again on the YouTube channel where I might have said, when you open your eyes, you're going to speak like an alien. You will not be able to speak English. You can only speak like an alien. Now, there's two suggestions in that. First one is you won't be able to speak English and you can only speak alien. And they'll open their eyes and they'll sort of look at me and go, Now, they know how to not speak English, and they're happy enough to accept that suggestion, but they don't know what alien sounds like.
All right, okay.
You know, so I mean, there's other clips there where I say 1, 2, 3, wide awake, and they go beep, bop, 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 whoop, and they're speaking lovely, imaginative alien. It's not real alien because we don't know how aliens speak like, but they've used their imagination. It's about them having that imagination. For other people, they'll just go. They can't speak English because they've accepted that suggestion, but they didn't accept the other suggestion because they just, oh, what's aliens sound like? I don't know, or don't want to look silly. So they don't speak because, you know,
I am
they're
so
in
glad you explained that and that I didn't have to cluck like a chicken. I am so glad that you explained that.
If you want to, I can help you make you do that.
I know I don't necessarily want to, but I know the viewers are sitting there going,
Make her do it.
make her do it. I know they're sitting there saying that.
I'm going to start a GoFundMe page, and I get £1,000, and I'll do it.
That's a good one. Make me speak like an alien. That's a good one. We'll raise some money for charity. You were mentioning to me about the 4 categories.
Indeed.
You know, that the 4 categories. Any issue falls into one of these 4.
Well, that's
categories.
it. I mean, people say.
What are they, Taran?
Yeah, people always say to me, "What sort of things can you do?" You know, and it basically falls into 4 categories. Everything falls into 4 categories. It's to stop you doing something you don't want to do.
Okay.
It's to get you to do something you do want to do. So stopping something you don't want to do might be to stop you smoking or biting your nails.
Okay.
Or maybe grinding your teeth. Okay, you don't want to do it, but you're doing it and you can't stop it. You don't know how to. Okay, so stop something you don't want to do. To get you to do something that you feel you can't do, and that might be you want to go swimming, but you just haven't that motivation or can't get to do it, or to feel something that you want to stop feeling something that you don't want to feel. So if you're feeling anxious or you have panic attacks and you have these bad feelings and you want to stop feeling them, or finally to feel something that you can't feel at the moment. Like you can't feel motivated to do something. You can't feel confident to do something.
Now, I'm smiling, and I have to tell them all why I'm smiling. Because whenever Taran says feel, it comes out like feel. Say feel for me.
You're a terrible woman for doing that.
Say it for me. Say it for me.
I say feel good hypnosis.
I love it. So
I'm going to say that's McCarry Ferguson accent.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. We want you to keep it forever. You know, your company's called Feel Good Hypnosis, and you can't pronounce feel. I love it. Now, our time is running. But I want you to. I always ask for the viewers, to give us wee tips or something. No, I've written this down. So give us the wee tip if you can.
Yep.
People who are afraid to go on camera, can you help? You know the way people on Facebook now, and they're doing lives and they're on camera. That's the way the world is today. Have you a wee tip that could help people re-camera?
Indeed. And I'm going to point you to a resource. Maybe you can put a link underneath in the comment section. It's a girl called Amy Cuddy, Amy Cuddy, Cuddy. And search for Amy Cuddy and power posing. And I teach this to my clients. If you put it this way, you never see someone with their shoulders shrugged down and their faces like this and they go, I feel really happy, right? Because when your brain feels happy, it makes you smile. You automatically smile when your brain's happy. Likewise, when you feel down, your brain makes you look down, okay? But there's a secret to this in that it works both ways. So if you're feeling down, but you put your shoulders up and you smile, it's very hard to think or feel sad. So the key thing is get yourself into a stance. And Amy Cuddy even goes as far as saying, stand like a superhero. So for a woman, it might be, Catwoman or Wonder Woman. Stand with your shoulders back, hands on your hips like a superhero, and stand there. And again, she's done the research. This is not just making it up. She has done scientific research on this here, taking cortisol levels. Cortisol is high when you're stressed, and testosterone levels. So she's measured these before and after people have stood like this for just 2 minutes, and noticed that that improves it. So whether it's talking on camera or say going for a job interview, especially if I'm working with someone for a job interview, I'll say, don't walk into the job interview going, hi, right? But go into the toilets, into a cubicle, and just stand and pose like your favorite superhero, Batman or Superman or whatever, you know, or Wonder Woman, whatever your gender, and stand like it. Only has to be for 2 minutes, and that builds up, reduces your cortisol, increases testosterone levels, and that gives you that confidence so that you can drop the power pose. Don't walk in, like I said, hi, I'm here for the interview, you know, but you just, having stood like that there in the cubicle just before they call you for the interview, you walk into the interview, your levels will be up and you'll be a lot more confident. Or standing in front of the camera, you'll be a lot more confident. So it's about shoulders back, head up, feel.
Yeah, and
feel confident.
Dame Judi Dench, you know, the beautiful actress, she says that whenever she got nervous about standing on stage or acting, she actually went to charity shops and she got the clothes that if she was dressing when she was a young lady, when she was dressing as an old lady, she would have bought old ladies' clothes and put them on her, on her body. She made her brain feel that she was an old woman. And she said she even felt her body starting to go, you know, round shouldered and coming down in height, because she was getting into character. And whenever I'm teaching people how to speak on stage, I'm always saying, you know, let's get into character. Who do you want to be? So that's sort of like being a superhero or.
Yes, I mean she's using the clothes. There was an American study, so it's American words, but they got this class of students, and they used a camera and watched them coming down the corridor into this classroom, and they give them a lesson. And during the lesson, they would use old words or words associated with old people, like Florida, you know, nursing homes and Zimmer frames, and it was probably an hour-long conversations, but these little words about old people and loss of eyesight and all this sort of stuff. And then they watched them walking back down the corridor. So that was part of the research. And they got a different set of people and brought them in and talked about, you know, surfing and young things and you know, energetic things. And the people that listened to the talk about old people, they walked back down the corridor slower than the ones that had been listening to the younger words and terms.
Totally believable.
So whether you think about words associated with sadness or think about words associated with old, you will act the way you're thinking. So think positive. You know, use your posture to stand confidently and positively, and that will actually. It's not just about, you know, I hate this, you know, fake it till you make it. It's not about tricking yourself. Because the chemicals, the testosterone, the cortisol levels, they will change inside your body when you think in that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And we're totally running out of time. So one of the things that that I've always said to people, that, you know, what's between these 2 ears and here is what controls your whole entire life.
Exactly.
It controls your day. It controls your future, and people leave it behind. You know, people do not realize. People say, "Oh, I'd love to do meditation, but I don't have time." But you know, with the power of the mind, will know they don't have time not to.
That's it. It's you need to look after you. I mean, it's a big buzzword these days, and you know, the Royal Family and always getting involved and things like that in terms of mental health, and both for men and women. There's almost a bigger gap with men these days and looking after their mental health. But yes, everybody has to look after it. Everybody has to take time out. You know, when we get tired, we go to sleep, and when we put on a bit of weight, we go down to the gym, or we do a bit of exercise, a bit of cycling, if the gears don't fall off. And you know, private joke, folks. And you know, so it's you gotta take time for your mind as well. It's almost that mind body thing gives the impression it's a mind and a body, but it's just one
That's
big
right.
thing. It's all
Absolutely.
connected.
And listen to me, Taran. Just before we go, okay, tell us all a funny story. Tell us something, because I know in your world you must have so many funny stories. Tell us one.
Well, that's it. I mean, there's lots of examples of just strange and weird things. Like I say, I talked at the top of the hour there, top of the half hour, about if you thought you were going to levitate, you wouldn't go into trance, and that's one of my early stories. Was I tried to hypnotize someone. I thought, oh, in the early days, this was 10 years ago, and they didn't go, and I thought, oh, what went wrong there? I said, well, were you worried about something? I said, I watched this movie the other night where the guy made the girl levitate, and that's what kept me out of hypnosis. So I mean, there's things like that there. There's a lovely one, and I actually forgot you were watching me at one time at the Crumlin Road Jail's Mind Body Spirit Fair. I think it was a separate year. It was last year in November there, October, and a girl came up to me and says, I can't be hypnotized. I've been to shows and I've tried this and I've tried that, and I can't be hypnotized. And I just started talking to her, and before you know it, she dropped straight into trance. It's like a 22-minute video on the YouTube channel. You should check it out. But it goes from her swearing blind that she couldn't be hypnotized, and at the end of it, she was a great sport.
I watched that video.
Did you see that one?
laughed so much because this girl was adamant, and there is no, like, everybody, and then all her friends are looking at her going, are you for real? Like, are you seriously doing this? It's so funny, and we can see all that on your YouTube channel, because you have loads of videos like that on your YouTube channel.
Just search for Feel Good Hypnosis on YouTube. You'll find my channel.
That's it. All the thing. I love it. I
have
it.
The phone numbers, the social media. That's what I do. That's it. Feel Good Hypnosis.
Brilliant. And if people want to get in contact with you, boy, they don't have to look any further how to get in contact with you. And we could talk forever and ever and ever and ask loads and loads and loads of questions, but on Tuesdays with Bernie, it's just a brief little overview for people to have a look and see and listen, and I'm sure you've brought a little bit of light into their hearts. And thank you very much for taking the time with me.
You're welcome.
Another Tuesdays with Bernie. I'm sure you really did enjoy it. The part about Laura, I just think is fantastic. If you do have something that is bothering you, or just a little something that you need tweaked, do get in contact with Taran. Because just one session could change your life, and maybe two, but just get in contact, and he'll tell you whether or not it's something that he can help you with. And if you've got anything, well, we can't get out in the public now, but in the future, and you need him for a seminar or something like that, get in contact with them. So guys, thank you very much again for sharing your time with me. As I always say, if you have a topic that you think would be of interest to the viewers, please let me know. And if you want to come on and be interviewed, I'd be delighted if you've got a lovely topic that you think would be of interest. And you can send me ideas of people who you would like to see me interviewing, or ideas of people or topics that you'd like to hear about. I appreciate it. And once again, guys, I can't spread the word with Tuesdays and Bernie, but you can by sharing. So if you would share my videos, I'd appreciate that, and somebody else might have value. I've lovely guests coming on. I've got a young lady coming on who's going to be telling us a story. And no, I'm not going to tell you about her, because it's going to be a real good surprise, and I'll lead up to it. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And once again, I'll see you next Tuesday on Tuesdays with Bernie. Bye-bye for now.